because it was a Necroy place Minecraft.
What if I shut that door, mate?
She's not too bad now. Right, this is the Romany ride back again. I'm at a good friend of mine's place today to talk about the life and times of this man and this lady, Steve and Judy McCartney. Steve's a very good friend of mine. I've known Steve now for 20 odd years and we're partners in business in some aspects. And as far as I'm concerned, no straighter man walks the earth when it comes to that. And Judy's been very good to me as well over the years. Steve, I want to ask you a few questions about how you grew up and where you come from.
Yeah.
Because we can then go on to what you've achieved here, your stud name and all the rest of it. But going back to when you was a boy then, Steve, how did it all start?
What, with the horses?
Well, with your dad and where you grew up from?
My dad always had horses, and my grandfather, one of my grandfathers, he used to supply all of the pit ponies in Wales. Later on in life, we went to Wales and we went and stopped in a hotel, like guest house place, and had a bar there. We got down in the bar, I couldn't believe it. Looked up on the wall and there was a photo of my granddad stood on some pens buying horses as a young man. But we had the same photo at home. I always remember my granddad saying, I give a guinea a piece for them horses there. I said, you'll never see that again, Grandad. He said, I'll never see it in my lifetime. He said, but you'll see it in yours. And so we did. Several years back, these same ponies that used to come down into Devon to buy, they Dartmoor ponies and bits and pieces off ill farmers. They was making a pound a piece again in Chadford Market. So he was right.
He was right.
Yeah, he was true to his word. He said everything works in circles in this world.
Now, from your dad's point of view, Steve, you said he bought a trailer instead of buying a house, didn't he? At one time.
Yeah.
The Bluebird.
When I was a baby.
Yeah.
There was a house up there, a cottage with a couple of acres of grain. He was £1,200 at a place called Oakleaf. No, he was 12 and a half. And anyway, he had £1,100 he'd had. And he wouldn't go to the bank to borrow the 150 quid, so he went and bought the best Bluebird trailer ever made at the time for £1,100. That was 62 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a baby.
So when you was growing up, you had with the horse job, you was born right into it, really.
Oh yeah, I can never remember not feeding an horse.
No.
No.
And some of the tales you told me about you leading the horses in the dark and riding them and.
That was a regular. Go to Dorchester Block every last Friday of every month. And the old man John Fry and the dealer men is getting the railway in pub. I said, we'll sit on the step. And then he'd wait until he finished. The day was saying that was 16 miles away from home.
Oh.
Once the cars went on the road today, and he said, get up, whatever he used to buy was to ride back home. And in the pitch black,
right.
Then the cars went on the road like it was today. He'd get out the pub, come past, hollering and shouting.
Yeah.
The fucking horses go everywhere.
Right.
But he always waited till I got home.
And you was always a good dog man, Steve. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some of the best dogs. Why? I think I had the best coursing, best gambling dog in Dorset.
Right.
Years ago. How many years ago was that, Jay? Richard? 40 years ago. I run that dog 12 Sundays on the trot for £300 then. £100 there.
Right.
He never missed air on 12 Sundays on that Salisbury playing. Good dog he was, a dog called Richard. He's the sire of all them good dogs years ago back now. Up the north, Rambo, Cruiser and all them.
Right.
The dog got chawed off me. And I found him years afterwards. I was on Appleby Fair. Big Jim Murphy was having a bit of breakfast with him. He said the dog come from up the south years ago up here. Dog called Richie. I said, oh yeah, I thought that's my dog. I never cracked on nothing. I let him carry on. I said, do you know where that dog is? Yeah, he said, I do know where that dog is. He said, a boy in Manchester got him. He said, he's bred some good dogs out of that. That's how I knew he was a sire to them other dogs.
Right.
I said, who's that? He said, Kipper. Mind you, they boys had nothing to do with chawing the dog.
Right, right.
Anyway, I said, phone the man up. I said, I'd buy that dog back. I said, I'm not entitled to buy him back because he was short. He said, I'll phone him up. And then he phoned him up. He said, you can bring the man in. He said, I had to put the dog down, he said, a couple of months ago. So I missed him by 2 months, so I've had the old dog back.
Yeah.
I bought him off old Molly Cooper.
Right.
The boy said to me, another boy, he said he got a big red Saluki dog. He said, when we go on the downs, he said, he spews up all the way there, like travel sickness.
Right.
The dog.
Right.
He said, but chucking out the motor, he'd run alongside the motor all day across the downs. He said, as the day goes on, he comes to himself. He said, they start killing theirs. He said, he can kill theirs. Anyway, at the time, I think I dealt him up. I think I gave him a donkey and about £20 for it at the time.
Right. Right.
Yeah, old Molly, deal for anything. I got him right. I had an old escort van, I put a big old sheet in there wherever I went. I didn't give a fuck what he done in the back.
No.
I cracked him a bit in the end, and he ended up with a good, elephant dog on there, killed, kill anything. Deer, killed hundreds of deer.
Move on to Julie a little bit now. Julie, I think your family name is Cooper, isn't it?
Yeah, adopted.
Adopted.
My dad was adopted, yeah.
Right. And what's your memories, Jude, of growing up like?
Really, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's a ducket really. My granny married a Cooper, so then Dad took
Right.
Cooper's name there.
the name Cooper, but he was known when he was growing up as Ducket.
Right.
But Dad's people, they travelled like from Wales and Cornwall and whatnot. They ended up in Dorset, bought some plots. Several travellers bought plots down through this road. And then they built bungalows.
Yeah.
And when my dad got married, my granny gave my dad the bungalow.
Right.
And he reared us
Right.
there, so we was brought up in
Kenners,
houses.
yeah. But you obviously retained the traveller things, Julie.
Oh yeah, Dad was on that. I mean, he wasn't too fussed on us going to school and stuff, but Mother always made us go. But 9 times out of 10, he would come to school gates and pick me up and go off like out with the dog or whatever. But then she'd get wind of it and make sure that I went to school the next day. It was funny because that went on with us. Stephen used to take our boy out of school, and I'd go and find him and take him back to school.
Right, yeah.
So, but she was adamant that we'd have an education, and I'm glad that I did.
Yeah, you did that with your own son, because he's very well educated and
he is, yeah.
very successful in his life now. So.
Yeah.
So any funny stories, Stu? What you and when you was growing up?
Not that could be brought
All
up.
right. Yeah.
No, just the usual. Get up to the usual kids.
Fell in love with me, Clarence, that was the trouble.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the
So
thing.
how long have you two known each other then?
Since I'm 2 years older than her.
Right.
She's always been there.
Right.
Libby, her dad, Libby, was my father's one of his best mates.
Right.
He said to Libby when she was about 12, 13 years old, she wouldn't be able to make a bad daughter-in-law for me, Lib. He said, I want that fucking ring with hell round
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we've been married 38 years now, so...
38 years.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you had a very, very past, and you moved down here to get away from it all, really, didn't you?
Yeah.
Down in Devon?
Yeah. I couldn't help myself, Clarence, I was in trouble.
Yeah. And I suppose Julie had to pick up the pieces then?
Well, that's what you do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what you do, yeah. Yeah.
It's a pull out. Well, that's how we ended up in Devon, wasn't it? We used to go to Stowe Fair, pull out the yard to go to Stowe. First stop when we left Stowe was Newton Abbot Horse.
Right.
Where Trago Mills was, there used to be a sighting behind there.
Yeah.
And that was alright with us there. And then we used to work our way on down to
Down through Cornwall,
back up to Bristol and stop there with Isaacsmith. Then up towards Appleby. That's why I travelled up and down the country so much.
But you are one of the most travelled men that I know. I asked you where anywhere in the country is, and you've been there.
Same as the only place I've never been is Scotland, but I walked all of Ireland.
Right.
We was walking through Sydney Airport one day.
Right.
We was going over to visit family. Just going through with our bags, all of a sudden I heard somebody shout out, "Oi, Mac, what are you doing here?" And I couldn't, the other side of the world, and somebody knew it.
Yeah.
Far and wide.
And you've always been a dealer, Steve?
Yeah, I was done.
Your dad asked you to join the business, but you didn't want that, did you? No? So
I was always hawking. I've been hawking since I was 7 or 8 year old.
Yeah.
I scraped the old collar.
Right.
He used to come and pick me up, him and his boys. Way hawking. The boys could get a living, but
no.
They knew that I was 2 steps in front of them.
Yeah.
I sold out and loaded and on the way home.
Yeah.
In no time. Mm.
And does your love of horses stem from all those years back, Joe, or?
Yeah, Dad got me my first pony. Well, actually, it was a Shetland pony. Kept it behind the garage. I can't remember how old I was. Not very old. And then he got me another pony, and it just went on from there, really.
Yeah.
Started being taught to ride properly, start lessons. And then it just went on, and obviously Stephen's always had horses, and it just carried on.
So, Steve, when you came down, you didn't have this place first. You had a bungalow, didn't you, or something? You said.
I had a bungalow up on top. We were down there. Well, in trailers to start with. At the time, they had a big Lord Monster in them, didn't we? Anyway, I bought a bungalow at the top there with 7 acres. Oh, in the summer it was beautiful. In the winter it was Arctic.
Right.
I said, I ain't suffering too much of this.
Right.
Anyway, I sold it. It was just when the property market was just on the creek back up, wasn't it, too? And anyway, I did sell it. But while I was up there was this bit of ground there.
Right.
Anyway, no one seemed to know who owned it.
Right.
I said, I'll find out who owned it. I chucked 2 horses in it.
Right.
Anyway, about 10 days went by. Boy come in the yard. Eddie Purdy it was.
Right.
And Barry Penfold said to me, what are you doing putting their horses in there? I said, well, I couldn't find out who owned it, but I know who owns it now, don't I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I said, do you want to sell it? Eddie Purdy said, I'll sell it. At the time, I had a fairly new Orion car in the driveway. He said, I'm a car dealer. I said, I have a bit of trade with that motor if you want. Anyway, that's how I ended up with the place there.
Right.
Anyway, the council was on me back up there, driving me mad, because when I first come down here, I had 6 workmen I brought with me.
Right.
So I was roofing them. Anyway, they was all living in the yards and the trailers. Well, we was living in the yard in the trailer. I had a big bungalow there.
Right.
She couldn't cope with it. She didn't want to know. So we was living in the Lord Monster, living in the yard, don't we? And the council come. Said, you can't live in these caravans here. Anyway, I had to go up and down there with them. He said, who's living in the bungalow? I said, nobody's living in the bungalow. It was a brand new bungalow, wasn't it, Jim? It was too big, Clark.
Right.
Anyway, he said to me, he said, you know, he said, you can get have you had a bit of land? We pass it. We're desperate to pass some travel sites in Devon.
Right.
I said, oh yeah. Well, I'd already dealt Eddie up for the bit of ground down here.
Yeah.
So we pulled down here on the November.
In the November.
Pulled on here on the November.
And in the
But
January.
what I said to the enforcement man up the top, when I was up there, I said, write your name down on that piece of paper, mate. So when they come here and said to me, you've got to get off, I said, I ain't going to get off nowhere. So that man told me if I bought a bit of ground, I'd get planning.
Yeah.
So I'm stopping.
Right.
And so they was true to their word. By the middle of January, it was all passed for life.
Ah.
So I had a bit of luck with them, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you moved here, that was the start really of you being settled. You had roots down in the ground.
We still used to go away when we first did. We used to try to get away for Stowe.
Yeah.
And go back home the last Stowe. And then we'd be shut up for the winter, really.
And did you enjoy the travelling side of it, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big social side to it as well, especially when you get on the fairs.
Right.
See people you haven't seen for, well, since the following year, previous year.
So it's true what the old ones used to say then. They'd say that they travelled to meet. So that was what it was like for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See people, Steve?
Pardon?
You see people that you haven't seen
Oh,
before?
yeah, you do. Of course you do.
And you've got a good friend in Ireland, Johnny Cross, haven't you?
Yeah, Johnny's
Yeah.
good friend. Met him on my travels.
And he brings a lot of horses over from Ireland, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
Well, when it was easier to ship them back out, I've got horses here now. Johnny would buy, but the trouble is there's so much aggro, red tape now to ship them over.
Okay, well, because of Brexit.
All down to Brexit, really. We still do sell several to go abroad. They're not dealing copies.
No. One time, Steve, you was on the road every day, weren't you?
Yeah.
Travelling on horses up and down the country? Would you transit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every day. I was exporting a lot to go into Europe.
Right.
Just take them up. We have a lot of trade with David Shakespeare down in the Midlands.
Right.
He used to wait every week with Arctic like. First of all, I'm in Germany.
Yeah, so you've evolved. You two have done really well. You've come from sort of humble beginnings and now...
Come from nothing.
Nothing. And now you're very well known in the breeding world. McCartney stud, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that came about by Cookie, Julie, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was your foundation.
He's our foundation stallion.
Yeah.
He's well known all over the world.
He was in Times Square, wasn't he, once?
That's right,
Yeah.
yeah. We was washing him out one day and Steve took a picture of him and just put it up on...
You can't put your hand on that photo, can you?
No.
Should have had that. Next time you do it, I'll get that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a phone call, somebody phoned and said, oh, can I use your photograph? I'm such and such a person, I'm from Sony.
He phoned me, didn't he?
Yeah, Steve looked up and said, well, yeah, he said, do what you effing like with the photo. He
Yeah,
said,
No, I said to him, he said, I'm from Sony. I said, really? I said, I'm from Mars. He said, fucking nice.
And then a couple of hours later,
I can imagine Steve saying that,
a friend of ours phoned.
He told us, he said, that horse is in Times Square, with a big photo of him in the thing, advertising him.
And there was a picture of all the people walking underneath it, looking up.
Yeah, there he was.
There's Cookie.
Cookie. And he was part of the family. He become part of your family, didn't you?
I could have sold him a dozen dons.
Well, he did sell him once to go to Australia. It was going to be a divorce.
Right.
I had to find
That's
a
another
lady.
story.
I had to find a lady another one. A black and white coat I sold her, didn't I? Yeah. Better come to put a passport. He said, what's his name? He never had no name. I said, Prophet.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you breed funny colour ones, don't you, Steve?
Yeah. They, years ago, my old man he loved the Palomino.
Right.
And,
Well, he used to call him the Palomino man, didn't he?
yeah, he, I always like a bit of colour to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Original horse, Palomino's what we had, come off a man up in London way called Eddie Price. They were Welsh cobs, but strong Welsh cobs,
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
It looks like a feather.
The old fashioned stamp.
Yeah. But I breed.
You start off with the cream dilutes and then the pearls.
The silver dapples.
Yeah.
And now I've got a line I've been working on for several years. I think I know a couple of others. They're a few years behind me, but it's only stuff I've let them have.
Right.
I've introduced the champagne gene into them.
Right.
And so they're really unusual.
And what's that? That gene means they're a different colour, does it, Steve?
Yeah, they're champagne colour.
Right, okay.
You go on the internet and type in golden horse, you'll see the champagne come up.
Right.
They originate from blood horses. Like any travelling cob, they're only made up breed anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many do you run at the moment then in your study?
20 odd.
20 odd.
Cutting down class.
Right. You've been saying that for years, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a rise.
We start foaling again, I think it's April. But only 5 this year?
Yeah.
We had 12 last year, so I suppose we've cut down a little bit.
But as far as the stud name goes, that was brought about by Cookie.
Yeah.
And he was a piebald cob, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was called McCartney's Highland Prince.
Right.
I sold a coat off him to a lady up in Surrey. And, you know, wealthy people, like.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was a Lloyd's banker. And he was what was his name, Joe? I can't think of the horse's name. Abbotswood.
Gorgy boy.
Gorgy boy, she called him.
Oh, yeah.
And really, that's what really kicked off with every black and white horses being shown, that horse. She did promote it well, that girl.
And he won an awful lot. He
Oh,
won
yeah.
the Royal Windsor.
So I don't want rubbish, she said. I want something that's going to win shows, unless you go mad. I said, I ain't got nothing near her that I'd sell. I said, but there's a mare there. I said, she's well bred. She's out of old Eddie Alcott's horse. I said, she'll lead one for certain. And so she did.
Right.
Horses. A drug, that's the trouble with horses.
You was well known for getting a horse fit.
Yeah.
Getting him fit, and Julie was part of that as well.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd go one way at the end of the drive to go to work, and I'd go that way with the
Right.
sulky and two tied on behind.
Two tied on behind. Jig jogging away.
Old Jim McCann, years ago, old Jim, it was the first time we ever seen trotting horses. He come down Paul Lane for one. We all used to go drinking then in a pub called the Osprey. Dealing, you know, in the car park dealing the people. Some weekend there'd be 30 travellers there.
Right.
Dealing. Anyway, Jim McCann come up through the trotter. My old man said he's going to have one of they.
Right.
The next Wednesday he was in Southall, he bought one home. She was a spotted mare, believe it or not.
Right.
Of course she could trot. Yeah, she was a good one. I was only about 14, but of course she could get on with it.
I know a lot of people, just for the non-travelling people out there, they talk about people trotting horses on roads, but I just had a thing sent through which I'm going to put up. In Malta, they just do it.
Yeah, all the time, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So the training that you did, Julie, and the training that we all did, the 16 or 18 weeks, that obviously put that horse in condition
You're training them on the road, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
So they're used to the concussion anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
They're bred out of standard breds, and standard breds are a race of
A racehorse.
trot
Trotting. Yeah.
horses, but they're trotting.
Yeah.
You know, we've got several racehorse trainers around here, and they get the horses fit on the road.
Yeah.
Give them plenty of road work.
Yeah.
Same as a greyhound, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anything's got to be exercised and worked up and down hills and.
Yeah.
But them trotters, the bone density on them
Right.
is, you know, it's good flat square bone in it.
Similar to the Arab, isn't it?
You know, it's dense bone, isn't it?
Right,
They've got a
right.
big old Clyde's, you know, shoulder, big old rainbow thing.
You've
isn't it?
always told me, Steve, and with my own research over the years, we've talked about these so-called gypsy cobs pulling these wagons. Well, they never had none, Steve. They only had half-legged horses,
Of course
didn't
they
they?
did.
And a gypsy
These
cob.
big old real
right.
hairy cobs,
Jack.
well, spirit, you know.
Yeah. They jack.
They
So
wouldn't pull it up the road 20 mile an hour. Well,
No.
they would, but not for 10 or 15 mile.
no.
Very rare. You might get the odd one.
So
You look at all the old photos of the old travellers.
yeah. There was no.
My old granddad used to say to me, see they early leggings, they wouldn't pull you out of bed, son.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what a good day's work was.
No. So the airy leg cobs really was for show, Steve.
Well, people like them, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
The first ones I ever seen, I was only a young man, the travellers then used to take their horses to where Starl Payne is. There used to be an old farmer in behind there.
Right.
He had shires, but he also had cart horses.
Right.
But the core, they had some head on them.
Yeah.
But they had tons of feather.
Right.
And the travellers used to flock to him when they got popular, these heavy horses, flock to him and take the horses, take Welsh cobs, all sorts, you know,
Right,
try
yeah.
to breed them with a bit of feather.
Yeah.
And a few colouredins and all sorts. But man's name is old Roy Belbin, never forget him.
Yeah.
It's like any breed, it just starts to evolve, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think with the trotting today, as far as the road racing, it's just too many cars, Steve, and it's too much disruption in it. It's too dangerous.
It is too dangerous.
It's not fun anymore, is it?
Any driving is like
Yeah.
that. Look at the road down the bottom.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Look at this road out here.
Yeah, I've been hit 3 times myself. Yeah.
Yeah. The drive and the old gorgy people, they don't understand horses. That's the problem.
No.
No.
So now you finally built yourself a lovely bungalow here.
Yeah, it's not too bad, Claire, is it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and you bought yourself a bit extra bit of ground out there. You've got more acreage now.
Yeah. I
know you keep telling me, oh, I'm going to sell up, but I don't think you'll ever sell up, do you?
I don't reckon.
Won't sell now, do you? Will you? Yeah.
No.
They say behind every successful man is a really good woman, so there she is sitting there.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you also used to keep a lot of chickens, do you?
Oh, yeah. That's all I've ever lived for, Clarence.
Right.
Coursing dogs,
Right.
game birds, and horses.
Yeah. You're very well known all over the country, really, for that job.
Well, with the game birds.
Yeah. A lot of men flock to come in here to see you, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same as them. I've sent them all over the world.
Yeah.
And the only man I know where the Americans have come over to.
Yeah. And you had a good friend in Morristown.
Yeah, well, Morris, yeah, good friend.
Yeah. He just recently passed, didn't he? Or
Yeah.
they wanted him to go to America, and you, didn't they, Steve? They told you. They wanted both of you to go to America.
Yeah.
Morris and you.
Yeah. Morris went there. He did. I didn't go.
Right.
Morris went over there, but he was into dogs. He was.
Yeah.
You know, bulldogs, but everyone did their own. That one a bit of me.
Right.
But no, I think I was one of the first men ever to have American fowl as well.
Right.
My auntie married a serviceman after the war. Did they marry her? They did, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
He married her here, but he never ever mentioned his family.
Right.
Anyway, I suppose he was brought down to earth a bit, marrying into us lot. But a nice man, clever man. He was like an engineer, like
Right.
whatever. I don't know what he was, mechanic or something. But higher up than that. Anyways, after about 4 years, he said, I want to go home. I want you to come home and meet my family. And he flew over there. And little did we know, she'd only married into real people who had loads of money. You know,
Right.
well, multi-millionaires.
Right.
Well, anyway, obviously he seen me with the chicken. Jack did, his man named Jack. And he got on the phone to me. He said, you know what? He said, there's a farmer at the road from us. He said, I reckon they got 2,000 of them birds like yours all tied out on
Right.
tethers.
Never.
I said, never. He said, yeah. He said, next time you come over, make sure you bring me some eggs. When I stopped him, I was phoning him regular.
Right.
I wouldn't let him off the hill. And he brought me a sitting of eggs. I had 10 chicks out of them. They were shuffling birds, they were black red shuffling birds. Anyway, I'd never seen nothing like it. Whoa, dynamite. There used to be a man out Dorchester who used to keep birds. There was another man out there, where the other side of Wareham, called old John Otter. No, that was, yes, John, old man Otter, and then there was John Alberton. They're both dead and gone now.
Right.
But they used to play regular with these birds, black reds and ginger reds. And when they seen these American birds, John Alberton, he took me under my wing. I used to ride it on a push bike. He was about 12, 14 mile away. If not, I'd chuck him up on a horse and cart and drive over there and play with him.
Right.
But anyway, he didn't want to. He had the best setup you ever seen.
Right.
He took me under his wing. He said, "We'll do these birds together." He knew what I had. He'd never seen them before. And that was the first ones I ever heard of, and that was the first ones that the old man John Alberton ever heard of or seen.
Right.
When the boys seen them go then, they was all going to America and getting them.
So did you have a big family, Julie? Like aunties and uncles? Was it a big family?
My dad's mum, my granny, she was one of 8.
Right.
But
Did I send you that photo of them all?
Not yet.
Didn't I? No.
but dad himself only had one sister,
Right.
so it was just the 2 of them. But like extended family, yeah, there was a lot of us.
So when you two met, you obviously you was in was it Wareham or Dorset or?
Wareham, yeah.
Yeah.
That way. Well, Paul, all round there, like.
So what did you do leaving school, Jude? Did you work or?
Yeah, I went to a factory.
Right.
A sewing factory.
Right.
But Dad wouldn't let her go out walking.
No. No, my granny tried to teach me how to make flowers once and wreaths, and Dad come in and see me doing it, and he chucked a lot up in the air and said, my daughter was not going out to keep no man.
Right.
She'll be kept.
Right.
And so I have been.
All right. Well, we'll end the interview at this. We'll call this episode 1, and then we'll get some photographs and some video footage of your yard at Steve and some of your horses.
Yeah.
And Julie. So thank you very much, and we'll look forward to part 2. Thank you.
Cheers, Karen.
Thank you.
Cheers.